expressions and the group that didn't, because the group that did was texting away and entered in results and looked engaged, and I think that was really the focus. And the 50 that did not have expressions was sitting there looking kind of not really as engaged as the rest. And so these active expressions really have a huge potential to get kids really involved in the learning process, and I think that is an important part of engagement. Step number 1 is exciting kids, using strategies like make-believe, gross and weird stuff, that's my favorite, fun visuals, multimedia, and control, another favorite. So all of these can be reached using Promethean technology. So for instance, examples of fun visuals, really easy to find. Students plus interactive flip chart equals control. I'd like to expand on this one. You know, when I look at kids today and think, oh, we're such a big group of disenfranchised people. I mean, we can't vote, we can't, we can't drive, we can't drink. Oh, no, forget about that one actually. Well, basically, what I'm saying here is that kids really need control, and one area in which control should be given, I think, is the learning process. And the reason for that is because when kids are allowed to really make decisions about something that's important to their future, then they maybe feel like they have more reason to care. Obviously, when we have technology, we want to make sure that we match everything. I have my 3 balloons. We want to make sure that with all the fun, we also have learning and teaching strategies with that. And so the active board allows you to really mesh these together. So you're not giving up best practices of teaching and learning when you're using the board, rather you're enhancing them. So for instance, you can use something really simple, like I just use connectors. When I was teaching kids about expanding on topics instead of being overly general, getting more specific, then I asked a student, well, where's a place you vacationed recently? Because it was actually right after summer. And so the student said Washington, D.C. And I said, okay, Washington, D.C., how can we get more specific about that? I drew a connector and I asked, what site did you find really interesting in Washington, D.C.? And then she said, the big statue of Lincoln. So with that, at the Lincoln Memorial, I was able to go from a place I traveled to Washington, D.C. to Lincoln Memorial. Sharing, I really think, is encouraging. So step number 1 can be a collaborative group writing activity. This is one of my favorite ways to demonstrate new concepts. And it helps you eliminate a fear of writing. Glad that screen came through. Using teamwork, when students are really working together, they're understanding that collaboration is an important part of life and of being a good student. And it's learning by doing. Instead of telling students, oh, write with the 5 senses, then you're actually showing. Because we learn in writing all the time, show, not tell. And when you're able to actually demonstrate that to students, then it makes it a lot more powerful. So to use another analogy, let's say that writing is like swimming in the way deep end of the pool, and students might be a little scared to jump in at first. But when you're able to jump in and say, this is okay, I'm not going to drown, it's not that scary, then students will be more apt to jump into. So here, let's pretend that you guys are 5th graders. Shouldn't be so hard, just slouch back and pick your noses and you'll have to write it down. Write along activity. Okay, so this is something I do quite often actually to demonstrate descriptive writing using the senses. So I'm going to ask you some questions about this tree house. It's a subject that I write about a lot. So let's say that you are walking in the forest and you see a building. What color is this tree house? Is blue. Great. Is blue, and I can actually start the active expressions. And the treehouse is blue. Oops. And how big is it? Is it humongous? Is it minuscule? Think of a really interesting word that would describe the size. Gargantuan?
You want us to
tiny.
enter? You want us to enter the word, or what?
Yes, enter the word in. A word that is either big or small or somewhere in between. And you can enter it in here using the texting function. So this is kind of like what you find on a cell phone. Under the numbers, you have letters A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, and just click on that until you find the numbers that, the letters that you want.